I need my earpiece, which is not good. I don't have it here. So we went live today. So why don't you start that, Hiram? All right, I'm gonna go with this sound right now. Welcome. I got thrown off without being on a headset. Oh well. Live out of Miami, Fort Lauderdale. Welcome. This is Victor Arocho. Welcome to the Jersey Boys Sports Show, hosted by Byron Jones and Victor Arocho, brought to you by the Sportscast. Today's February 25th, 2021. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to all our channels. Subscribe to the Sportscast on YouTube, Periscope, and iTunes. And if you're on iTunes, please download our app and leave us a review. It'll help us out quite a bit. And you can also visit us at thesportscast.net or follow us on Twitter at thesportscast1. Please check out the iOS on our app once more. And we're getting ready to go. Sorry about the delay. Byron, can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can.
Okay, great. We're streaming live on Facebook and on YouTube. Let's get going. We had a great day. We got quite a bit coming up. So I'm not gonna ask you the weather because you didn't send me any pictures. So
there you go. It was like a heat wave here, 50 degrees.
It was a heat wave, 50 degrees.
All week in the 50s.
Oh, it was beautiful here. Okay, where's my topics? Didn't I just send you the topics?
Yeah, on Facebook.
I'm having like a computer breakdown today. Well, tell me what's happened with the Giants. Well, today we're going to talk about the Giants, find out some news. Some of the picks have changed, right? I can't believe this. Somebody deleted something. Maybe I X'd it. What news is happening with the Giants? Are you seeing the top four? You see the top 10? They're picking a lot of the guys we said we were going to pick.
Yeah,
so like the tight end.
Yeah, Kyle Pitts,
some of the receivers, the guys that are still available, I think, though, are going to be the edge rushers because there's going to be a lot of offense taken in the first 5 rounds.
Yep.
What is any updates with Saquon?
Nothing. No, that's a good thing. As long as you don't hear anything, no news is good news.
Yeah, you say that every week. It's true. I'm just hoping to hear something from him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When we get to our
heal up and stay out of the news. That's a good thing.
Okay, we should be streaming now, so I can get that's us. All right. Now I can see the comments. I don't know what he's doing. So let's go to Kipler's picks. I got him here. Here's a mock draft that we're talking about today. So some of it still seems old, right? But Kipler has us think we can get Jalen Waddle, the receiver from Alabama.
Right.
Then they mentioned the edge right, but see, they still talking about the same guy, so I can't tell if this is old because they're mentioning Kyle Pitts, but he's in the top 10.
Oh, you got Kuiper, Mel Kiper. Yeah, that's his name.
Yeah, Mel Kiper.
And the list I got today, I got Charlie Casserly. That's the other guy that puts out a list, and he still has the top 5 is Trevor Lawrence for Jacksonville. You got a trade probably. He was thinking that the Panthers are going to trade up to number 2 to try to get a quarterback, or the Jets might stay where they are and take a quarterback. And the quarterback they got here is Zach Wilson, the guy from BYU.
Right.
Then Miami on Casserly, you got Jamar Chase, the wide receiver that sat out this year from LSU. Or if Carolina Panthers stay at 4, where they're at now, that Trey Lance, a quarterback from North Dakota State, that played 1 game, and they got filmed for 1 game for him this year. And they still have the big tackle from Oregon that sat out this year, Sewell, going to Cincinnati because our guy does need to be protected, Joe Burrow. So, they're looking at a tackle. We got, here goes a surprise, Devonta Smith to the Eagles, maybe.
Really?
Yeah, that's what he has on here. But I'm thinking because they already moved on from Deshaun Jackson and Alshon Jeffries, so they're probably going to need a receiver. Then we have Micah Parson, the linebacker from Penn State at Detroit Lions. Probably. This is high. I'm gonna throw it out there, and maybe Justin will call in with this one. They got Najee Harris, the 8th pick, going to the Atlanta Falcons with a trade.
Wow.
If the Falcons trade back. They got Denver, Caleb Fairley. That's another kid, cornerback that sat out this year from Virginia Tech. And on here, you got the Giants at 11. He has Jalen Waddle or Pitts or the edge rusher from Miami, Russo, whatever his name is, or Devonta Smith at the pick 11.
Well, yeah, the parts that I had on my outline that I'm trying to look inside of our piece on the event itself, but it was talking about when I wanted to talk about the Giants and who they're going to pick. So we still don't know in the 14, but it was funny. Kipler was talking about, and I wanted to get your response on this. He was talking about predictability. How last year they were stating how Josh Allen wasn't really going to be that great of a quarterback. He was talking about Justin Herbert, and they were the scouts were also talking about this year's Justin Fields. So he was laughing because it was all Jays. So he's saying that the scouts themselves should be should be held accountable to the predictivity of a player in the NFL because they're the ones watching them all the time.
Yeah, but you really don't know if their game is going to translate from where they were to the NFL because you had most of those guys like Justin Herbert. He wasn't under center that much, so they wouldn't know. Wyoming sucked. They were the team was awful. The people around him were awful. Playing the bad weather with Josh Allen for Buffalo, and they didn't know. How would you know that this guy is going to succeed the way that? And it also helped that he got a real Brian Dable, the coach from Alabama, coached him up.
Okay. Yeah, but I mean, I just here now. I got everything now. Awesome. Had to copy it back from Facebook. I hate not being prepared. No, but he had some legitimate pieces, right? These scouts these teams are paying these scouts to evaluate talent, and that in college, right? The best teams usually have the best recruiting classes, right? At least in their conference. You want to out recruit your conference, and then you want to recruit the country. Fair?
Yeah.
Okay. So those scouts are held accountable too. But in the NFL, where they're paying them big dollars and they're picking all these quarterbacks, right? And they're doing a lot. They are picking a lot more offense in these drafts than they have been in the past.
Yeah, because now it's a quarterback-driven league. If Justin Herbert had came out last year, he would have been the number 1 pick. And I'm thinking the Giants would have tried to jump up to get him last year.
Right. But so he was talking about that the scouts weren't predictive of the success of Josh Allen. In other words, he was calling them out. Right. And then the other quarterbacks, I'm just saying to you, though, those are some high rank. There were several. In other words, who's making a point? It's not just them they get wrong. Right. Some guys have missed Brady, right? There's a whole bunch of pieces there, but I wanted to bring that out. And they were saying that a scout should scout with anticipation of how does he see this person? Like they were saying, what he was saying is that they were giving Tua has the right arm strength, is the good quarterback, is ranking them above these 3 players.
Right.
Right. And he's saying, look, they got to do a better job as well. That's now I remember where it came from.
Yeah, but you can't predict how these guys are going to do when they get to the NFL. You have look at what's his name, Robert Griffin.
Right.
He was a Heisman Trophy winner, won all kinds of stuff, in college. Got to the NFL, first year, rookie of the year, he did well. Then next year, he just fell off the wagon, because of injuries and just he wasn't coached up right.
Right.
They're not going to be 100% all the time. That's just you're going to hit or you're going to miss. That's it.
I agree, but because they're making. But back then, they're at least now they're picking more quarterbacks are coming out, right? So they're just saying. I guess he was saying, from my perspective, I kind of agreed with him. Like that, he's just saying that they're picking more, and these scouts need to be held a little bit accountable, and they should do better predicting of of a lot more pieces as opposed to someone they like or they think.
Yeah, but how are you going to know for sure? You're not.
You're never going to know for sure, but look how many they got wrong, right? Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, and he's saying that he feels Justin Fields would do well as well. I guess he was defending the fact that the critics were saying that Justin Fields isn't going to be made. He's not going to do as well in the NFL, and we still don't know how Jalen Hurts is going to do either, right?
Yeah, but when you go back to like the Ohio State quarterbacks, so look at all the ones that came out in that offense, and I'm talking about I'm gonna leave the one kid alone that Washington had, but all the ones prior to him, none of them have succeeded at the quarterback level. They're all played at a high level. They all put up tremendous numbers, at Ohio State, and then when they got to the NFL, their game just didn't translate. And I'm sure the coach, this guy's the best thing since sliced bread. He can run, he can throw the ball, but it just didn't work out.
Well, speaking of that, let me ask you a question. How does a guy like Matt Castle, right, go to USC, never play it down, but was behind some really good quarterbacks? He was on the winning, national championship teams. His last snap was in high school and still makes it in the NFL. Like, how does that happen?
He was better than the other guys in the camp. And then you figure, USC is a high, that's a big program. So, they want, the scouts, as scouts go to coach, go there. You got the coaches are probably talking him up. And he just got lucky. And he made a lot of money being lucky.
Size. I mean, he had the size. It wasn't like he didn't have the size.
I had a teammate at Tulsa. He was drafted one pick before me, Dean Hamill's name. He went to Washington Redskins. He ended up being, he never started with us. He never started with us. He was an offensive lineman when he first got there. Then he switched to the defense, his senior year. Draft comes around, he could run. He was strong as an ox. All of a sudden, he went to the right team. He made the team, and he ended up being a Super Bowl winner. He won a Super Bowl when the year they won, like 80. What year they won? 86.
With John Riggins.
Yeah. Whatever. Was it John Riggins?
Yeah, Doug Williams.
With Doug Williams, he was on that team. He was a special teams captain on that team, and he never started at Tulsa. So all it takes is being he never, all it took, just being in the right place at the right time, and he was. He ended up playing 5 years.
Yeah. And also, you can't teach size. There's certain things you just can't teach, right? So I just wanted to ask that question. And then the NFL draft. Okay, how is it that Scott's job provide some predictive success? So we're waiting for Mark to talk about Dak. Let's go look at what do we see as the top picks? We know. Let's go. We know that Trevor Lawrence is going. What do you think about him going to play for Urban Meyer?
That's the only reason he probably went there, because they got the number one pick and they have $82 million in cap space, so they could start off, running and not be a complete flop, quickly.
Right. Also, he's also been successful when he has a good quarterback.
Well, hopefully he doesn't do what he usually does. Is all of a sudden, the pressure gets to him a little bit, and next he gets sick and he has to go. That's happened twice.
Say that again.
With Urban Meyer.
Yeah.
What did he do in Florida? All of a sudden, he had health issues. He had to leave. He went to Ohio State. He got health issues. He got to go. So hopefully things don't get tight on him at the NFL level, because it's going to get tight. And all of a sudden, I have health issues. I got to go.
Well, he's already proven the history of that. So why do you think it's going to be different?
Hopefully, if he succeeds, he won't have health issues. If he's losing, everything is going to be bothering.
My pink hurts.
Everything. He's going to be fragile from the top of his head to the bottom of his feet.
That's it, fragile. Yeah, I can't imagine. I mean, that's another thing. You got a guy that is there for a while and has a health issue, but he's won. But I still think there's better guys out there. A lot of turmoil going on with Tiger. So here's what they have here: the Jaguars picking Lawrence. They got Zach Wilson, a quarterback from going to the Jets.
BYU, yep.
Really? Okay. The Dolphins, Devonta Smith. There's still a lot of talks. You know that Watson mentioned that Miami would be a team he'd want to play for.
Yeah, give up too much to get him.
Right. So they got Devonta Smith. He's from Alabama. That's a good person for Tua to throw to.
Yes, it is. You're very, very familiar with him.
Trey Lance, another quarterback. So look at this. Offense. First five. So Trey Lance is going to Atlanta, supposedly. Is a mock draft, right? Where's he from? He's only a sophomore.
North Dakota State.
He's only a sophomore, dude. He's 6'4".
Redshirt sophomore.
And he's going that high up.
Yep.
That's crazy. The Chiefs, the Bengals are picking Jamar Chase, wide receiver. I can't see where he's from, but
LSU.
Where do you see it?
No, I know where he's from.
Oh, okay. LSU. LSU. They got the Eagles taking Pitts.
Yeah.
Right? So that would be good for Justin. There's a linebacker.
Micah Parson.
Georgia. Yeah, he's good. In the 7th, we got Justin Fields going all the way down. That's what they were saying. They can't believe that guy Trey jumped ahead of Justin Fields. And that's what Kipler was talking about. He's like, these guys, they lower the bar on Josh Allen and Justin Herbert and all these guys, and Tua had a higher ranking.
Yeah, but look who had the best year of all of them was Justin Herbert. Mm-hmm. He put up big numbers in Los Angeles.
Josh Allen did pretty well, too.
Yeah, they both did.
Yeah, that was the whole point. He's arguing Justin Fields' case, right? So they're saying that the market, we're looking for Micah Parsons.
Yep.
Why does it say we have pick 11? I thought we had pick 14.
11.
Okay, good. Dallas getting outside lineman.
Slater from Northwestern.
Yeah. No. Pete Penwell.
Pennywell.
Yeah.
Going where?
Dallas.
No. What number are they picking?
Huh?
What number are they picking?
10.
He's not going to drop that far.
They got Surtain is 9. Fields is 8. They got Ojawari is 7. Pittsburgh getting the tight end. I like that kid Pitts. I don't know who this Jamar Chase is. Trey Lance. So that was what the argument was. Trey Lance being picked higher than Justin Fields.
You figure they have a lot of film on Justin Fields, playing Ohio State, this year. And I don't know what happened, because he did get hurt, the game before the national championship game. And, he hurt his ribs or whatever when he got blown up. And maybe he was still hurting, but he didn't play well, as well as he should have. And the other kid, they only have 1 year of film on him at North Dakota State because, they, canceled the rest of the year, this year. So they played one game at the beginning of the year, and that's all the film that they have on. They're going like he's Carson Wentz. They're going on potential, what he might be able to do.
Right. What do you think? I think he's going to do well with Reich up there. Yeah, Indianapolis is a good place for him.
It was a perfect place for him. They got an offensive line. They got a good running game. They got a good defense. So he fell right into something good.
I said it from the beginning, dude. How can you be paid that much money and been thought of as the future of that team and then go to work every day with the statue of the guy that replaced you and won the Super Bowl? Like, I don't know about you. I'd get out of town, get out of Dodge.
Why? He got paid over. Philadelphia is a great sports town.
I understand that. I'm just saying that I've always said it, that if they erected a statue of Nick Foles and you got to go to work and he replaced you, no man, it's like what was that guy Mickey Mantle took over for? I'm out of Dodge. You'll never compete again. I just would.
Competition makes you better. I would
just take the statue down.
Why would
or tell me what I got to do to put it up.
You know what? They got a picture. They got the statue of Rocky up. What Rocky ever do besides being a movie?
He made Philadelphia boxers on the map.
They were already boxers. Yeah, Joe Frazier.
It became well known.
It was well known before.
Philly loved them. Ran in the park. He ran up the stairs. Have you run up the stairs?
What stairs?
Where Rocky's at?
No, I looked at him. I ain't run up the stairs. There's a lot of stairs. No.
I don't see anything on our live stream here. I don't know what's happening, but it's okay. So let's see what we got next. All right, so we got that going on. We got the trades going on. We got the I just think things are going to switch even more, right, in the draft. I think there's going to be more trades early on. Something's going to take place. I hear that Seahawks, they're having, Russell Wilson is saying he wants to stay, but, he would be interested in what's going on?
Those quarterbacks are trying to be like the basketball players. And I said it before, where they want to dictate personnel decisions, what offense they're going to run, what offensive coordinator they're going to get. And it don't work like that in the NFL. They're not going to do that.
So they're threatening to leave in lieu of that. Is that what you're saying?
Okay. All right. Have at it. Good luck. Good luck trading yourself.
And with that big salary.
Nah, he ain't going anywhere. They're gonna appease him. They'll be quiet and and be the good soldier that he is.
That is crazy. That is crazy. Well, we got a lot of news happening, and I'm gonna wait for Mark. If not, we can get into the Dak situation. See what you think. If he joins us, let's give him a few minutes. I want to get a little bit to some of the NBA that I saw. Let's talk a little bit NBA for now, because I've been dying to get this out. I don't know if you had a chance to watch the Pelicans versus the Celtics.
What, the 24-point gave up thing?
Yeah. You saw that?
I couldn't take it anymore because nobody plays defense. That irks my nerves so bad watching these guys run down court and they hoisted up 30-foot shots and 40-foot shots, all of them. Nobody plays defense anymore. Nobody.
Well, they're saying the Nets are starting to, but I'm going to tell you the story here. Where is this played? Yeah, I want to see videos. This kid, first of all, I had a lot to say about that game. It's how long. It's just too long. I wanted to just give you an idea. Is this it? This kid, Zion, and then Jalen, Jason Tatum are incredible. And then just the whole team of several players on the
What
Celtics.
if one hot-selling Amazon product could
Let's see if I can get this where I can get rid of this ad. But if I can, it's playing.
replace your income and change your life?
Change your life, Ira.
The what?
Ira.
Hey, we on the beach today, huh?
Oh,
we on the
no.
beach today. You see it, huh? It feel good.
Sorry.
What if one hot-selling Amazon product could replace your income and change your life? Hi, I'm Sophie Howard, and I'm...
After missing the first dozen or so games for the Boston.
I don't know if I'm supposed to do this, Byron, but we're going to check this out. But what it showed me was how awesome, like, did you see this?
Thompson, get down in the stand.
Hold on.
Yeah, I can see it.
I forgot to optimize the window. Okay, sound. Boom, boom. All right. Is that better?
Yep.
And keep a person from getting into the paint off the dribble drive.
So I just want to get to later in the game. So the Pelicans were losing like
little two-man
back.
game, nice pocket
Okay.
pass to
And
Tristan Thompson. That's pretty good offense.
Zion Williamson
Relocation by
had a
Ingram,
really
and he knocks it
bad
down.
first half. And I was able to catch the highlights. And what was impressive to me, it wasn't good that the Celtics gave
of his 17 and attacking.
Make that shot, Mark.
65-49. You see
Right.
that, Byron?
Yep.
Okay. So they're getting blown out, and Zion just had a bad game, first half. Okay. I'm going to stop this so I don't know how much I can use of that. But he had a really bad game. Then in the second half, I mean, they were down very far. And Boston's a good team. But Kemba Walker, I forgot, Jalen something, and Tatum, they were doing their part. But all of a sudden, it's like the energy of Zion Williamson just lifted his entire team. And it's not like he's got as many players that I could name on Boston. And they ended up winning by 5.
Yeah.
But then when it got close, and you have to make those clutch shots, all the stars are making those shots that moved it to overtime. And then one team has to lose, right?
Yeah.
So the sad part is that Celtics let them catch up with such a far lead. Right? That was the bad one. And it was also good that you saw a young player playing till the end and his team responds to him. And he was passing it, he was taking shots, and he's just like a young beast of a man over the other players. Then the other part is when it got close, like Jason Tatum was taking some great shots. Kemba Walker was taking some great shots. Like the stars were playing. Does that make sense?
Yep.
That to me was amazing to watch, right? Even though they lost, it was nice that I can explain. It's like you knew when those stars got the ball, they were going to make sure they were going for theirs, right? There was no looking to pass. There was no looking, they were going to make the game. So I really, really enjoy that game. And, one thing about basketball I do like is that it could lift up enough of the players, because there's less players, that the role players start either buying into it or they fall to it, right? What are your thoughts?
Pretty much same. If you let me get my thoughts right.
Get off the phone.
Because Mark calls.
Oh.
He's not calling in today.
Okay. So we can talk about him and Dak at the same time.
Yeah, we can beat down the Cowboys then.
And then I'll let you go in there because I watched the game, but it was all I wanted to see. And then I'm going to ask you something that you can answer at least with as it relates to LeBron, right? So LeBron, they've lost a couple games. AD's been out, right? And LeBron comes on and it just says, my teammates are doing part. I gotta do my part. I gotta make those shots when I need to make them. Blah 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 blah. And then the narrative on the next day with Stephen A. Smith and Kellerman was, is it okay for the Lakers to ask LeBron that he should do more? And they're like answering, yes, it's okay. They should ask him that he should do more. And that kind of bothered me. And I want your response to that is because they're agreeing that the Lakers should ask him to do more. And that's not what LeBron said. LeBron asked himself to give up he wants to do more. He took the leadership role, right? It wasn't the team, the management that asked him. He put that upon himself. So anyhow, what are your thoughts? I just didn't like the way they addressed it.
He's the leader of the team. Who else? When things go good, he gets the credit. Things go bad, he gets the bad stuff. You got to be able to take the good with the bad. And for the most part, he's done it his whole career.
Right. But I guess it was more that the Laker team didn't ask him. He was gracious. He's great enough to not blame anybody other than the fact that I'm going to play better. They were like, well, yeah, of course they should ask.
Well, I'm sure behind closed doors, he's blasting people. Kind of like the same thing Michael Jordan did for years, blowing up people.
Yeah, probably. I don't know. I just thought is there. when a player himself says it, but if it came out that the Lakers had a conference and they said, well, we expect more from LeBron, that would have been a totally different narrative.
They'll never do that. They're not going to embarrass him or
I understand that.
like that.
Well, the way they said it, that the Lakers have the right to ask him to do more, I'm like, no, that's not what happened. LeBron is taking upon himself.
He's a big boy.
Yeah, and his role players got to play better. Kuzma's not playing. You know, they were on a high last year. You don't know if those players can sustain the same thing going on. They had Rondo. They had a few guys they lost.
They got their ring, so they're good now.
Well, you know, we'll see. We'll see if they go back to play. The Nets are playing well. So your sister is happy about the Knicks.
Yeah.
So let me ask you a question. So what do you think about Dak's situation? Do you think they're going to pay him? Do you think they're not going to pay him? I mean, I feel bad for the guy. He's the topic. They're just hanging around. I mean,
well, I threw this out there with Mark when I was talking to him earlier, and I sit there and said, you know, Jerry Jones is getting older. He wants to win now, like right now. Go out in a blaze of glory. And I said, you know what? He might make a Jerry Jones splash and say, you know what? I want Deshaun Watson, trade him. And I just threw this out there, 2 number 1 picks this year, next year, and Zach Martin for him.
Yeah, because Jerry Jones knows what it's like to go 1-15.
Yeah, he does.
You know what I mean? So he'd rather just say, hey, I don't blame him, though. I'd go for it. I like Deshaun Watson. I was seeing some stuff on some social media pieces where people were like saying he's a fake, he's a joke, this and that. I'm like, he's a great quarterback. I didn't get into it, but for me, I think he's a phenomenal. He's only 25. I think he's a great quarterback.
Yeah, but like with Dak's situation, what are we going to do? You can't pay him at the top of the level, the $42 million or whatever, like Big Ben and Aaron Rodgers at that level. But you got to put him, he goes somewhere in the middle. In the middle now, what a quarterback is between 35 and 40. So I would go as high as 36 million a year for him. He's worth that.
Does he want more?
Who knows? You figure the agent is probably asking for more. I want Russell Wilson money. I want Aaron Rodgers money. And saying it's probably 40. They're probably asking 40, but he should settle for 36. I would take 36 and run.
Oh, you would? I'm glad.
Take 36 and you wouldn't hear a word from me.
You wouldn't even show up to practice.
No, I show up to practice, but I would take that 36 million and be just. I would be a happy camper with 36 million.
You and me both, brother. Oh my God. Well, I think that it's just I feel bad for the guy. He's playing on a 1-year contract for the last 2 years, no?
Yeah, and then you figure he got hurt, last year. And he did start off like in a blaze. Those games that he did play, and he was proving that he was worth all that money. So hopefully he'll recover from the terrible injury and continue the path upward.
I'm just trying to see if we're getting any messages because I can't see them from here. I don't know what's going on, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I got on here the market value for him is $36.8 million.
For Dak.
For Dak.
Is that the bat line?
That's a bat line.
Is that Gordon Commissioner?
No, that's my mother-in-law.
Commissioner Gordon? Huh?
Mother-in-law.
Oh, I should have said hello to your mother-in-law. You're on video, dude. I want to hear. Oh, who was it? I thought of you. Who were they talking about? They were talking about someone who kept. They were recording video of them saying one thing about Brady or a team, and they run them back. You're on video. This is what you said.
Watch what you say.
I forgot who it was. Like, they must have went to Byron School and denied deflect. Something's going on. Okay, but it was pretty funny. All right, let I apologize. I thought Mark was going to come on, and I was prepared for the Dallas Cowboy piece. So, I don't. I'm pretty excited about next year. I don't know about you. I'm just, I'm hoping Daniel Jones gets what he needs. Right.
What he needs is a true number 1 receiver.
Yes.
Because what they have right now is not cutting it. But then the other problem they got to deal with is cap space. They only got $5 million in cap space.
Oh, that's what I wanted to ask you. I'm confused. Okay, I don't even know what's the real story now. First, I heard that the cap was going down, and it made sense. Then I heard the cap was going up. Then I heard someone say unlimited cap, where they just got on social media.
It went up. Yeah, that's social media mess. It went up $5 million. It went up from 170. It was going to be 175. It's at 180 now. It's 180.
Didn't we talk earlier that it was going down, and we were like, "Yeah, that makes sense because no fan did." Am I missing something or no?
It was supposed to go up more than what it was if they had
during normal circumstances. It always goes up.
It did.
That was said that was going to go down. No.
Yeah, I think it was like at 198 or whatever it was, and it did actually go down to 180.
Oh, so it did go down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at they got mock draft, trade shakeup, Trey Lance, Devonta Smith, Najee Harris. Look at all these offensive players, man.
Offensive lead.
Yeah, I got to give a shout out to Alabama for boy Justin. You know, that kid Mac Jones, God bless him. Yeah, he graduated in like 2.5 years or something like that, and he's got his master's degree already. You know, those are the kind of kids you hear about that are like fantastic.
Yep.
Is to be able to play at that level, be that studious, get those kind of grades before you get out of college, and go to college with money.
And he's creeping up into the first round. He's going to be a first round pick too.
I don't even have him on here, and that's my point. I mean, one of those 10. That was my whole thing. I didn't see him, right? I didn't mention him at all, did I?
Nope.
Okay, so what happens if he goes up? It's going to push one of those guys down. So I guess again, if you had the top 10, let's go back to that thing. Let's go to NFL mock draft. Okay, so here's what they have as the top 10. If one or two of these guys drop, who would you want out of the top 10 for the Giants? Okay, you're not going to get Trevor Lawrence, so let's leave that alone. Okay, so let's just go through who's going to be. Sorry. We don't want a quarterback, not a draft a quarterback. Okay, you got Devonta Smith. Would you take him?
Yes.
Not Trey Lawrence. Jamar Chase.
Yes, I would take him.
Kyle Pitts, I would say yes.
Yes.
What do you think about the linebacker from Georgia?
Yes, I would take him. Well, Penn State.
No, I see.
Parsons?
No. Ajiz Kouari's from Georgia. No, I
Never heard of him.
Okay, so we know Justin Fields. We're not going to take as a quarterback. Patrick Surtain for sure,
without a doubt.
They got him at 9. I think he's going to go up.
No, he's going to stay right there because all the offensive players are taken first. There's a lot they're going to take.
No, I had to skip players because they were all quarterbacks. I knew the Giants aren't going to take they're going to get a quarterback. You know, they're going to take Deshaun Watson. They're going to draft a quarterback.
The Giants need a wide receiver. They need
right. So I just saying to you that out of the 10, I took out quarterbacks. Right.
You need wide receiver, tight end.
1, 2, 3, 4. Out of the top 10, I had to take out 4 quarterbacks. There was only 6 left over. Right? They're drafting 4 quarterbacks with all these star quarterbacks wanting to play somewhere else.
Mac Jones is going to sneak in there. I'm telling you.
Mac Jones is not even there. He's where is he?
He's going to sneak into that draft. Somebody's going to take a chance on him.
Well, that's why I wanted to ask you the remaining 6. Now, let's go back to remaining 6. Which one would be your number 1 choice? Devonta Smith, the other wide receiver. So if you had to pick, okay, let me tell you what's left over. This is good. This is what I want to do.
I'd take Jamar Chase from LSU.
You got who would you take?
Chase.
You would take Chase?
Yes.
So over a tight end, over Pitts,
yep,
and over Devonta Smith, you'd take him.
Yep.
That's 3. Okay, the other one was a linebacker, and then Patrick Surtain would be number 1, right? But that's out of the other ones from an offensive side, you would take that. Where did he go? And you're right. My point being is, whole point of having this scouting for the Giants is knowing now that they're 11, all we need is one of those top 10 guys to fall, right? And it don't matter because we're not going to pick a quarterback anyway. So if one of those 4 quarterbacks drop, the Giants are going to just skip right over them. Unless someone wants to trade a pick for another pick, right? Man, I don't see Mac Jones. I'm on 14.
Mac Jones is going to sneak into the first round. I have said it right here.
They were talking about that, yeah.
He could end up New England Patriots.
Well,
Need a
Patriots
quarterback.
supposedly want Garoppolo back.
Yeah. New England Patriots, he could end up there. He could end up Washington Redskins.
Dude, I don't even see him.
He's in the
Mac Jones. They got him going 29 to the Saints.
He's going to sneak in. Somebody's going to take a chance on him.
The kid's smart. He's good, you know.
And don't forget the Saban Bill Belichick connection.
Right. That's true. Yeah, but you could say that. But has Belichick really taken a lot of Alabama players though?
He has taken a lot of them.
Who?
Damian Harris. He's taken some linebackers before.
Maybe defensive, yeah. Because lately the offensive guys he hasn't had a chance to take. Well, that's going to be good. All right. Well, at least we know. I think there's several guys like that. I can't believe he's that far. Mac Jones is ahead of those other 4 quarterbacks. He's behind all those. I didn't even know if there's a quarterback in between. He's a steal.
Yes, he's going in the first round. That kid, he's good. He's smart. He didn't
Big.
He didn't make a lot of mistakes. He just doesn't look a lot of fleet of foot. He doesn't look too fast.
Yeah, Brady ran a 5.2.
I'm sure are worse than that.
We're hoping they're going to franchise Godwin. They got.
This is what I was looking up. Here, check this out. This is what I got here. Jacksonville has the most as far as cap space. They got $82 million to spend.
Wow.
But then the two Super Bowl teams, that play the Super Bowl, Tampa Bay has like 24 million, and Kansas City, I think I messed this with either are minus 18 million or they're just have 18 million total. And then the Jets have $73 million in cap space.
They get Deshaun Watson. Now, how does that work? Like, so they let's just say it's 25 million, like the other guy. Does that mean that you get if you had to pay 5 guys $5 million a year, that's how you can use it?
Yeah.
Was it guaranteed?
Guaranteed. Yeah.
So when you got like a 25 million cap space, it's really hard to get a star player.
Yes, it is. And then figure the Giants only got 5. So that means they're going to have to cut some people. Like Zeitler, the guard, was like 14 million.
And who was the one who had 80 something?
Jacksonville.
They got 80 something, getting the number 1 pick, of which they still got to pay him under his rookie contract, right? So they don't have to get crushed.
Well, this is what I got for a whole division. Yeah, the Eagles are negative $40 million in the hole. So the Eagles are screwed. The Giants is 5. The Washington Redskins are 42 million cap space, and
that's scary.
Cowboys are 24 million cap space.
How did the Giants lose so much?
The Giants, the Eagles are 40 billion in the hole, minus 40. So that means they're gonna have to cut players before they're gonna have to cut some people just so they can sign their draft picks.
Well, they cut the defensive coordinator, and they got rid of him.
I'm saying the players. You figure they're going to have like someone like Cox, the defensive tackle, maybe Graham, the defensive end. They're going to have to cut people to get to 0.
Really?
Yeah. The Eagles' cap space is a mess.
That's crazy. I'm looking this up for Sonia. Sonia, because she mentioned for Black History Month, she was talking about Dr. J. I think his birthday was today.
Right.
Shout out to Dr. J. That was great. Let me tell you, I was saying that those WNBA, the ABA intros, remember that? Those were my favorite. But did you know that he also? Oh man, he's 6'7". I was telling Vaughn that she didn't know that he was a major buyer of Coca-Cola stock back then in the day.
Oh yeah.
That he bought. I mean, that's where he made a ton of money. And I think that he was even on the board. I mean, he was, for him to know that kind of stuff back then, God bless him. You know what I mean?
Right.
It wasn't like they were making that kind of money, even though he's got all the accolades. You know what I'm saying? Because he's got all the ABA pieces. But I just wanted to give that shout out too. And I think he was around that guy, Gusueda, who was also one of the top shareholder. He generated some of the most shareholder wealth.
Right.
Dr. J and him became good friends, but before they became friends, he had bought, a ton of stock in Coke. I just wanted to see it. God bless him. I don't know. She goes, "Oh, I didn't know that." I go, "Yeah, man, he was pretty savvy. He knew what he was doing, back then." So shout out to Dr. J. He was so much fun to watch, man.
I got a shout out too.
Go ahead.
For a Perth Amboy guy. You know Glenn, right? Glenn Richardson. This is his brother. Bernard Richardson is alumnus of Howard University. He earned a master's degree from Yale Divinity School and a second master's degree and a PhD from Michigan State University. As a student at Howard University, his dream was to one day return as a dean of the chapel there. He fulfilled his purpose and was appointed officer of the religious affairs as the fourth dean of the historic Andrew Rankin Memorial Chapel at Howard University. Bernard has accomplished so much in his life, but my favorite is that he's the founder of the University Alternative Spring Break Program, which sends over 800 students across the world to address social issues during the spring break. This is one of Perth Amboy's finest.
What's his name?
Bernard Richardson, Dr.
Bernard Richardson, Perth Amboy, New Jersey. It's nice to hear. That is awesome. Yep. He's got his doctorates.
Oh yeah.
And then he got it his undergrad from Howard.
Yep.
Oh, and that's where Glenn went as well.
Yes, Glenn went there. Yep. Mm-hmm. Played football there.
Glenn did? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Did he play all 4 years?
Yeah, probably. I don't know.
Oh, okay. You guys had all those big players. Well, that's great to hear, man. I love hearing that from our youth from Perth Amboy. But yeah, I was shouting out to Vonda because she had mentioned it up. But Dr. J was awesome, man. Just not just on the court, off the court, and just smart enough to invest in Coca-Cola back then. How much those shares were. He kept buying and buying. I think he did very, very well. So shout out to him. Who else we got? You want to go into some of your NBA, your Perth Amboy athletes? Where are we at now? Because we got a long list.
Yeah, the list grows and grows. We're going to jump over to We're going to jump to track.
Yes.
Kathy Crawford. You ever hear that name?
Yes. I've heard of the whole Crawford family. How many are there?
Quite a few. She was All-American, All-World track, 100-yard dash, went to Arizona State, competed there. Then we have one of my favorites out here, Althea Rogers. Baker.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she could run.
She was a cheerleading coach. She came back to be a
coach. She ended up being the principal. Now she's retired, living the life in Florida.
Now she's fired, you said?
No, I said she's living the life in Florida.
Living the life, that's what I thought. Okay.
Yeah, I ain't saying you get crazy. No. We have Carla Taylor Williamson. Carla got to run in the Junior Olympics back in the day.
Uh-huh.
TC Nerney, remember TC?
TC, God bless the rest of her soul, man. That was one of the good ones.
Yeah.
She shouldn't have gone to that early, man. That's the sweetest girl.
Yeah.
God bless the Nerney family.
The Cardi family, George Cardi, Bruce Cardi, and Philip Cardi. Somebody threw it out there that George Cardi ran, I think it was 110 meters with the hurdles and came in fourth place in the 1968 Olympics. That was somebody told me. I got to check that out.
That's all right.
But I'm pretty sure it's probably true. But he came in, John Carlos and Tommy Smith, he would have been on that team with them. Wow. From Perth Amboy. Was it Canova? How do you say their names again? Ray and
Kanopka.
Yeah, those two.
Brothers.
Tim Leonardo.
Yeah.
Helen Dietz. ran track back in the day. Connie Peaks,
Oh yeah.
who was shot put. Howard Dillard, Greg Christie ran at the University of Houston
Uh-huh.
under with Carl Lewis, and then you have the Ralph Richardson was on here.
That whole crew, his class was good. You got Ralph, you got Eddie Jimenez.
Yep, Eddie Jimenez, I got on here. Anthony Crisco. They were first place in the 4x4.
They won the counties, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, they won the counties that year. The coach was Mr. Curry and Mavis, Ron Mavis, and they were the Middlesex County boys.
Yeah, they won the counties, right? That 4 and the 4x4.
Yeah, they won 1985.
Yeah, man, they were fast. Ralph was fast. Eddie Jimenez ran like a 4.6, like when we were in high school. I mean, that was a good team. Shout out to the Jimenez family. Shout out to Richardson. Shout out to Bert them with that team. And a shout out, I'm telling you, I think the girls cheerleaders in 1982 or 83 won the championship, or whatever cheerleading championship they had.
Really?
Shout out to the cheerleaders.
Yeah, cheerleaders too. Althea was a cheerleader. Althea was a cheerleader too.
And we love the cheerleaders.
I love the cheerleaders.
P-A-H-S. Hello, P-A-H-S.
Let's give Michelle Sisolak Day.
Yeah.
Veteran. She was a veteran, military and cheerleader.
Yeah, she raised really the highest rank she can get to in the Air Force.
Yes. Shout out to Michelle.
Yep. And Anna Prada went to the service. She went to the Marines.
Yes.
Right.
And Alice Slumko went to the Marines.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I don't know any other cheerleaders that went to the Marines. They went to the service. The rest of them did well, though. I mean, I got friends like Lisa Valentine's a teacher. She's got her, master's, and a lot of them were done well. Yvette Rivera, I don't want to name them all. Fanny Castellanos. I can go that whole crew. Yvette Rivera. I mean, if I didn't name them, it was no other reason, just for time. I didn't want to not mean. At least I was able to name someone, Byron. All right, so what do we got coming up? What do you think is – so we got now – we're in February. We got – isn't a trade free agent starts coming up in a week, in 2 weeks, right?
17th, I think, or 7th or something like that. Yeah, so for free agency, the transition tag, which they didn't put on Leonard Williams. So they might have problems. He's looking for anywhere between Aaron Donald money, which is $23 million a year, and DeForest Buckner, the lineman from with the Colts, which is like $21 million. So he's looking somewhere in between that.
Oh man, we don't have what's going to happen though if the 11th comes? Does that take any bearing on Deshaun Watson, like when he has to move him or anything?
No, nothing. It doesn't affect him at all.
So they still can trade for him. So free agents, just the guys that are free agent, they can go look around, and like Watts, right? He has the right to interview.
Most of them deals are already done because they said they have like a certain time where they can talk to these guys. And if you ever notice that, all right, say for example, Tuesday at 4:00, the free agency begins. Next, at 4:05, oh yeah, such and such signed. What? How's that happen?
So you're saying they're in the talks beforehand?
Yeah, they're talking. Yeah, they talk. All these agents know each other and the players know each other. Hey, I'd like to come there. Oh, yeah, we'll get a deal for you. The undercover stuff.
Oh, really?
Oh, another shout out. Drew Pearson, one of the all-time greats,
I've heard.
is in the Pro Football Hall of Fame filing.
Oh yeah, you mentioned that last week.
I'll mention it again just in case.
Good shout out for Drew. That's right. That's right by our area.
And Sam Mills got screwed again.
He did.
He deserved to be in that Hall of Fame. Maybe next time.
Yeah.
Huh?
How many shots?
Up until they get then they switch over to the senior committee, and then the senior committee picks it. So if hopefully, if he gets, if he's at that level.
Can you only be on the ballot a couple, like, you only have a couple shots of getting in, or no?
Like a certain amount of time, you have to get like a certain percentage, of the votes. And then, if you don't get to a certain percentage, then they throw you off, that list, and then whatever, you float around. So then it ends up going to the senior committee where, your peers are the ones that are going to be voting on, as far as you get in or not. And hopefully, he'll get there that way.
Since we do got time, I'm going to ask you, why do they let voters or writers cast a vote?
Because they see them play. They go to the game, they watch them play, and that's pretty much it's for all the sports. All of them do the same thing.
The one thing I liked about the football All Pro was voted by their players.
Yeah, but how is it that
all the other All-Star teams are voted by popularity?
But how is it Yankee fan? How is it that Mariano Rivera went in unanimous, as far as the votes, but Derek Jeter didn't? Missed it by one vote.
I'd love to be, but they're never going to release that guy's name.
But how is that possible? I understand Mariano was the most dominant, closer in history, but then you had the guy that was right there with him the whole while. That was basically just, he stirred the whole thing.
But he was the lead. No, wait, time out. So we're crystal clear though. The leader of that team was Derek Jeter.
Okay, well, the other guy got a unanimous, and he because of one vote. One vote.
Because they hate the Yankees, and they didn't want to give them to have be the only two unanimous players from the Yankee organization.
Why not?
Guaranteed.
Why not?
Guy was from Boston.
Nah, I wouldn't be surprised if he was.
He was from Boston.
Oh yeah, boys. It had to be a Boston guy.
It had to be. I'm not giving that vote. No way. He probably would have voted until he found out that it was. He's not going to take it.
Or either it was a New York guy did it to him.
A Met fan.
Yeah, it's possible.
A Yankee fan wouldn't do it. Yankee fans are Yankee fans forever. Yeah, I always wonder that. But still, I guess the writers, I just say that,
the writers see him play.
I don't know if they can appreciate the Sam Mills of the world, right? To be able to come from where he came from, and I'm not talking about life and stuff. I'm talking about from a Division III program, you had to work really hard.
Yeah, and it's 5'9".
Yeah.
Linebacker.
You got to work even harder, right? So there's just so many pieces that what can you write about that doesn't add to the ability to be remembered because of that? Because he got good numbers. It's not like, in other words, you don't get on the ballot unless you got good numbers.
But he didn't play in a big market. New Orleans is not a big market.
It's not a big market now. It's a big market.
If he had played in New York or Philadelphia or Los Angeles or Chicago, even Chicago, he would have been in by now.
Yeah. Well, I just think that's why my problem is having the writers to be able to write, because I don't think they're as objective as they would. They try to act like they're objective, but they're not.
Yeah, but they see them play all the time. That's the only reason, that they're,
Okay, so does someone watching on Sunday.
Yeah, but then look at, like with the Heisman Trophy, for example. Look at that. Where do most of the kids win? On the East Coast. Because everybody's up, watching the game. Ain't nobody going to stay up till 11, 12 o'clock at night.
That's not true. If you're on the West Coast, you will.
Yeah, if you're on the West Coast. But I'm just saying most of the voters are on the East Coast. So they're not staying up to watch some, kid play, Oregon, at 12 o'clock at night. I wouldn't do it either. It's like, nah, it's too late. It's night time.
We cannot base what the sports world would do based on what you would do, Byron.
Why not?
Because they're not going to deny, deflect. Well,
they do it every day.
Do it every day.
Deny, deflect.
It's true. They're going to flip-flop. Let's see how many other pieces they need the qualities.
We see it every day in the world. Every day we see people deny, deflect stuff. Flip-flop, change, oh, well, let me do this. Let me do it. They do it every day. So, I just put a title on it. That's all. Flip-flopper, deny, deflect.
That's true. That is true. All right. Well, we're going to start wrapping this up. This one went faster than I thought. Next week, we will have some people on, and hopefully Mark will join us, and we'll tear apart some stuff. And we're going to see. I think stuff is going to start happening this week. Something's going to have to happen. Something's coming to blows between, look, I'm reading something here, the rift. I feel bad for Tiger. Shout out to Tiger. Hopefully he gets better. Hope it was nothing particular. Man, that kid's had a difficult road, huh? Ever since his dad died, I think things changed.
Yeah. Well, I'd leave Tiger. I'm not a Tiger fan, so I'm sad that he got hurt, but I'm not a Tiger fan.
Really? Why not?
We'll talk about that later.
We'll talk about that later. All right. I like Tiger. He did a lot for the sport. Tell you what, I wish I would have played golf when I was young. All righty, so we're going to wrap this up here. Let's wrap it up again with the Gary Sinise Foundation. Freedom and security are precious gifts that we as Americans should never take for granted. We must do all we can to extend our hands in times of need to those who willingly sacrifice each day to provide that freedom and security. While we can never do enough to show gratitude to our nation's defenders, we can always do a little more. Gary Sinise, that's the Gary Sinise, SINISE Foundation.org. Helps out our first responders, all our soldiers. It's dear to Byron and my heart and the family. Byron, right? You got some words there. First responders. So anything you can do, go ahead.
Military, first responders, the nurses, the doctors, everybody that does help this great nation.
And this organization has been around for some time, so imagine they really need it now, probably more than ever. So you can follow us on Twitter at the Sportscast1. Please visit our website, thesportscast.net, and join us next Thursday. Call in. You see the number there. Join us next Thursday at 8 p.m. with more special guests. We'll be catching up about see what changes. Byron, let's see if we can start making our own mock draft. Let's do now that we know now that I know the Giants are in the round 11. Let's make a couple scenarios where it would drop. So like maybe bring up Mac Jones, but if Mac Jones comes up, somebody's got to fall out, right?
He's going to go in the bottom half, but I'll figure that out next week.
Yeah, let's we're only working with 12, 15 maybe, right? Let's see where we would put them based on what we need.
Do the whole one. Do all 1 to 32.
I'll do my part. You do.
I'm gonna do 1 to 32. Watch.
You do the 1 to 32 while you're shoveling snow.
There's no snow now. I'm good.
There will be by next week.
Thanks.
All right. God bless everybody. Stay safe. Byron, is always a pleasure. It was quite quiet today, but I enjoyed it as always. So let's pick up on some news, and I will talk to you next week.
Live long and prosper.
All right, brother. Thank you.